Is there anything going on in politics we should be talking about tonight? I know, it's the night before the election, and I know you're antsy, maybe even a little bit stressed about it. Before we get into all that, let me just first say this. Tomorrow, all day long, you can be right here on the first and we'll have you covered with analysis as the numbers come in. My election night coverage is going to come tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the first, but all day long, election time, okay? So you don't have to change the channel. Now, let's also discuss this. And believe me, I'm very, very confident about tomorrow, which I'll get to in a moment, but we have to have this talk beforehand so we can get our minds right, so we can get our hearts right, okay? Saving a country and losing a country is not an event. It's a process. It is not an event. It is a process. If we lose tomorrow night, yes, it will be devastating, absolutely devastating. Maybe mortally wounding. Maybe it will be. But we will still have a million battles to fight. What matters is we stay in the fight and stay after it. And if we win tomorrow night, maybe this is even more important. If we win tomorrow night, I will be right there with you. Woo, best night ever. You know, let's say we take the White House and the House and the Senate and your local elections go well. And believe me, it's not like I'm above this or separate from it. I'll be there with my wife cheering and celebrating. If it happens while I'm on the air, you're just going to see Smiley Jesse all over your television set. I'm with you. But then, Wednesday, the work continues. The fight continues. We have a long way to go, and the fight is going to remain, no matter what. Win, lose, no matter what, the fight will be here on Wednesday morning, I promise. Remember that. Now let's talk about what we have here. I want you to picture this. We are on a boat. It's just you and one other guy, all right? You and one other guy. It's a small boat. You're out in the middle of this gigantic lake, and you want to get the boat to shore so you can be safe. There's a storm coming. You want to get the boat to shore, and you know you have to get to shore in order to save yourself and the friend who's in the boat with you. The guy who's in the boat with you has lost his mind. He's an insane person. And he also wants to save you and him and everybody. But he believes the best way to save that boat is to pull out a chainsaw and saw a big hole in the bottom of it so the boat sinks to the bottom, which will obviously kill both of you. That is the exact situation we are in right now as a country. And it's a very, very frightening situation. The stakes for tomorrow are so high because that's the situation we are in. We now share a country with a bunch of America-hating demons who believe the highest good, the greatest good, is burning the country to the ground. And we have to fight back against that. I was actually thinking about this morning. I was just sitting around brewing on the election, and the stakes are so high. And I was walking myself through this whole thing, and I was thinking, well, why am I so antsy about it? Why are the stakes so high? So here it is. Let's just make this about one subject here. If Democrats win, they will open up the border and flood the country with another 20 million barbarians. You understand that it shouldn't be that way. Oh, a presidential election should always matter. And there will be policies that come with it, maybe taxes higher here, or different foreign policy there. I understand the two parties are different. I get that at all. But you should never find yourself in a country like we are in now, where if one of the two parties wins, they'll just simply destroy the borders of the country and flood it with barbarians. That's not a place you should be, but that's where we are. And so how do we even get here? Well, we live in a country, we share a country, again, with the crazy guy who's lost his mind, and he lives in a world of make-believe. And Democrats have lost their mind, and they live in that world of make-believe because Democrat politicians and the media behind them in the education system are constantly out there saying things just like this.
Why would you place your faith in somebody who instituted a so-called Muslim ban? Who sat down for pleasantries with Holocaust deniers, who said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
That was all a lie. Every single thing he said there, Barack Obama, speaking to a huge crowd right before the election, every single thing he just said is a lie. And your liberal Aunt Peggy, who's got the Harris Walls sign in her yard, she believes all of those things. She believes Donald Trump put in a Muslim ban. There was never a Muslim ban. That was something the media came up with and Democrats ran with. That's not a thing that ever happened, ever. Your liberal Aunt Peggy thinks it is. Your liberal Aunt Peggy believes that Donald Trump called Nazis very fine people. I need to once again remind everybody what Donald Trump said that day is, one, not that at all, and two, it's on camera. I don't have to rely on his word or heard from a guy who heard from a guy. If you or your liberal Aunt Peggy want to know what Donald Trump said that day, we live in an era where you can pick up your telephone and learn what Donald Trump said. And it's not that at all. Yet your liberal Aunt Peggy believes it, and she will be at the polls tomorrow canceling out your vote based on things she knows to be true that are a complete lie. We share a boat with people trying to sink the boat. And maybe, just maybe we owe Joe Biden a debt of gratitude because Joe Biden's mind is so melted into goo that Joe Biden, who was finally let out of his cage and let onto a camera somewhere, was very, very honest. People were mad about what Joe Biden said with his comments last week. This is how every Democrat thinks.
Just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Okay, you just saw it on camera. Why does your liberal Aunt Peggy not know that he said that? Well, because of this.
Now, the White House says that Biden wasn't talking about Trump's supporters. They even released a transcript last night where they inserted an apostrophe in the word supporters.
There's an apostrophe there. He's talking about his supporter, meaning the comedian, his comments.
As someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves.
The question, as John said, of an apostrophe, really.
It's a nothing burger. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker.
We are at a low point when it comes to our political rhetoric, and I think we should point out that that's been driven largely by the last 8+ years of former President Trump.
Your liberal Aunt Peggy lives in a world of make-believe. And I think maybe the coup de grace on this, that was Washington Free Beacon who put that montage together. The Daily Wire went out to a Harris rally. You want to hear what you're up against tomorrow? You want to meet the man you're sharing that boat with in the middle of the lake? Watch this.
So tell me a bit about Trump's agenda and what about it is most scary, most concerning to you?
He says that he's going to take anybody who disagrees with him and put them in jail. And from there, he's going to deport them out of the United States altogether.
And I think he wants to basically turn this into a white Christian nation, which it is not.
He hates everyone. He hates his followers, and he will totally try to destroy all life on earth before he dies. That's who the Trump is.
He is. He's a Nazi. He's a fascist. Of course he is.
Yes, I think he's a full fascist authoritarian.
What I will say to you is if he wins in November, it is going to be the birth of the American Nazi Party with him as the top of it.
They don't get to be the Nazis on our street. They don't get to turn our police into, their Gestapo. F them. If they want to bring on the violence, America will kick their ass.
Well, thank you very much. Any last message you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, love wins in the end.
Love wins in the end. That's what we're up against. We don't have to be happy about it. We don't have to celebrate it. But that's what we're up against tomorrow. Bring a friend. Text a friend. I've already voted. Good. Have your neighbors? Do you know? Take an hour off work tomorrow and drive people to the polls. Tomorrow matters a lot. Let's dig in and do the work. All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. Final thoughts. I know, your palms are probably sweating. I get it. Like we talked about in the opening, the stakes are high. I understand it completely. Just remember, look, we're going to be right here with you. You want to watch it? You want to watch it with me? Go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/@JesseKellyDC. Starting at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, there's going to be my radio simulcast. You can watch me do my show. Right after that, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be right here on camera for an hour and a half as the results are coming in. So we'll all go through this together. And let me remind you of this. You've heard me say this before. I know the stakes are high. I know it's really important, honestly, possibly country-ending stuff. However, saving a country is not an event. It is a process. Saving and losing a country is not an event. It is a process. If tomorrow night comes and the worst happens, we'll hurt for a night and then we'll get up and the fight continues, okay? Just remember, no matter what, the fight continues. Even if we win, and I think we will, like I said, I think we will win. The fight continues. That's when the work actually starts, all right? I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.